Hey guys, this is Lee Levine, and in this video we're talking about how you can 5x your outreach efforts and get 5x the results from your outreach efforts, even if you're selling a sophisticated offer that everyone has seen and heard. And yeah, let's just get straight into it. So you've been doing outreach the wrong way, and how you can 5x your conversion rate and the problem with cold DMs, right? And what we do about it. So the problem with cold DMs and cold outreach nowadays is that most marketing is push marketing. Things are pushed onto us constantly. And most of the InfoBiz game participants, which is coaches, consultants, agency owners, are viewing prospects as numbers and just another KPI to be hit, not actual human beings. We forget that there's actually a human being right now that we send a message to, and on the other side of the screen, he actually sees that message. And he is in his own state of mind, his own level of sophistication of the service. And we never stop to actually think about what is his state of mind? How would he respond to that message? Does he have the right beliefs that my sales message will convert, right? So can we match his set of beliefs to our sales message and how we convey and position our offer? Okay, so no one actually stops to think about that. And decision fatigue plus argument dilution across multiple competitors, which means basically there's a lot of things that are pushed onto you. Everyone is trying to grab your attention. Everyone is trying for you to try out his products and services. And this causes prospects overwhelm and inaction, right? People are bombarded with outreach, sales messages, promises, guarantees. And unless you're selling something that's never been sold before, this probably applies to you. Now, what happens to the prospect as a result? They become distant, they become skeptical, untrusting. It is very hard for prospects to just be like, hey, yeah, let's hop on a call, and then, oh yeah, I want to try out, let me pay you $5,000-$10,000, whatever that is. It's becoming very hard, and we need to shift the way we think about cold outreach. Okay, now we need to guide prospects and start viewing them as actual human beings who are ready to be transformed rather than numbers to be converted. Now, what does that mean, ready to be transformed, and how do we actually make that transformation? Let's look at the foundations of the problem. Foundations are, you send a cold DM to the prospect and you expect him, well, when I say you, I say most of the industry, right? They expect him to convert to a booked sales call within 1 or 2 interactions, which doesn't make any sense. The prospect doesn't know you. The prospect doesn't trust you. He never heard about you before. You just invited yourself into his DMs, and then depends on whatever conversational approach you're taking with your cold outreach DMs. Maybe you try to qualify him. You're trying to find like weaknesses in his business and what is not working enough for him, so you can say like, hey, yeah, we've done this before. This to me always felt like pushing a rock up a hill, right? Even if you do manage to get someone to book a call with you, the sales call just feels so much like it has so much friction. Even if you do get someone to pay you, like imagine how many things you need to convince him of to actually trust your process, commit to taking action, commit and trust to communicate with you and actually see you as the authority. There are too many factors at play here, and this is just not the way to go about it. Now, what is the way to go about it? Here's what the conversion process actually looks like. And if you go back and analyze all of the programs you've invested in, and I know that is true for myself and other entrepreneurs that I've spoken with, it actually looks like this. The prospect needs to go through you leading his transformation, which means transforming his identity, his belief, his state of mind, and his actions into the kind of person that actually takes action, the kind of person that actually believes that you are the best solution for him. And then he turns into a buyer, not only a buyer, but the perfect buyer. All right. Now let's actually look at that. Leading the transformation is a much bigger pillar than you think, and it has a lot of subsystems. All right. I'm not going to go too much in depth right now into it, but you know what? I'm going to create a free training going very in detail over all of this, and this will give you so many insights and tools to actually implement this and cause real change and real impact to your prospects to where they actually want to give you money, like they're pulled towards working with you. Okay, you're not pushing your process and solution onto them, like they just want to take it. Okay, now we can talk about like relevance, resonance, responsiveness. Is your offer relevant? Does he resonate with you, the company, your values? Is there responsiveness, which means is he accountable? Is he able to take action? Is he committed? Are you generating momentum with your process for the prospect, which means does the prospect actually gain momentum by engaging with you? When that means, I'm going to summarize it by, you can look at it as, if you are a sales coach and you provide someone like your ideal prospect with a sales script for free, which he can implement, and then if he takes that sales script and gets from 15% close rate to like 35% close rate, how hard would it be to convince him? Actually, you wouldn't even need to convince him. Like, he experienced a result using your process, and then he's like, this shit works. Let's just get more of it. Let's just get more direct access, right? So he's pulled towards you. He is magnetized towards your solution, okay? Because he has gained enough momentum, and then he starts prioritizing your content and your solution over others, right? Remember, as we said, there's argument dilution. There's so many people that are trying to gain the attention of you, trying to get you to buy their programs, all right? So from that, we understand that conversion is not a single big event. It is no longer enough to just send a cold DM and expect people to hop on a call with you and buy your high-ticket program. Conversion actually has sub-components of micro conversions, all right? Enforcing too much change, which is beliefs, identity, and action too fast, causes friction and resistance. This is why it doesn't work, because you're trying to push a lot of things into the prospect with one or two engagements, one or two interactions, and it's just too much friction and resistance, right? Now, what is the 80-20 goal and benefits of actually implementing this? Now, the goal should be to reach out to cold prospects and turn them into warm prospects who consumed our content and know what we're about, not sell to the cold prospect. So we're not trying to get a sale from the first interaction, because we understand that all of this cannot be summed up into one or two touch points with the customer, right? He needs to go through all these phases. And I'm not saying this should take a really, really long time. With the right systems in place, you can get this to be a short process, but he does need to go over all of this in order for him to become the perfect buyer for you, okay? Wait, where was that? Okay, so cool. Leading the transformation. What happens when you implement transformational marketing? The warm prospect spends 3 times as much as the cold prospects because he trusts you and he experienced your process and how it actually works, and he gained momentum. He gained results from your process, right? The sales process is also 3 times more effortless, and the sales cycle is shorter than you trying to actually convert a cold prospect that doesn't know anything about you. And the warm prospect will convert 3 times better. Everything in your sales process will be easier. So why would you focus on the cold prospects and try to get them on a call? That is not leverage. What is leverage? Leverage is the difference between what you put in and what you get out, right? So if we are trying to just mass cold DM prospects as much as we can, try to get them on a call, we are basically losing out on all of these prospects because we make them experience too much resistance and too much friction within the first interaction with us. And then every time they see you, every time they interact with you, they will subconsciously associate the fact that you're just pushing onto them too much things, right? That is not leverage. Leverage is actually what I'm going to talk about right now, which is our 80-20 solution. Now, how do we actually combine volume with transformation and educate prospects at scale? All of this process is basically, we need to educate our prospects, right? On what our company looks like, what our values are, what your values are, the face of the business, and what is actually your process and how you do everything, right? So we understand the importance of volume, which is 500 to 1,000 eyeballs per day on your offer, no matter what, which we can talk about that in a different video. You can have the best offer in the world, but if no one sees it, you won't make any sales, right? So we need leverage attention that does not depend on you. That is for a different training, right? So what do we actually do to combine volume with transformation and educate prospects at scale? We use leverage, we use 3 types of leverage. We use media, we use code, and we use people. Now let's see how you can use those 3 types of leverage. You can get away here with very implementable insights to actually grow your coaching business. Now, media and code is the main mechanism of educating our prospects, okay? Media, fancy way of saying we will create evergreen video assets that give value and transform your prospect. Just like the one I'm doing right here, I'm actually trying to give you as much insights and value as I can. By shifting your thinking and giving you frameworks of improving your sales process. Okay, so teach your prospects the most valuable solutions to his problem, share your personality, make them magnetized to your company, solution, and vision. So we make them understand that our process works. We shift our beliefs and identity, and we turn cold prospects into the perfect buyer who begs to give you money. Media is basically, we are creating a shit ton of content that gives value to our prospects, but not in the way of, let me show you this cool trick. We're actually trying to give our prospects implementable insights that they can go ahead and implement whether or not money has exchanged hands, all right? We are subconsciously showing our prospects what it would be like to be our clients. So now code. Code helps us distribute the media, keep track of every prospect in our pipeline, and make sure they are being transformed on autopilot. Now, whether that's AI video editors, which is permissionless leverage, basically you are using an AI software that does everything for you. You don't have to manage people. You don't have to convince people to work with you. So we just push short form content. We have CRMs that track your customers' pain points and what they need. Actual CRMs with custom inputs that give us leverage over the long term of understanding what our prospect needs, what is he looking for. And then like imagine you're keeping track of all of your prospects' pain points. Like I'm talking about specific individual prospects. And then 2 months down the line, you're on a sales call with him and you're like, hey, yeah, so I've seen that 2 months ago you were dealing with X and Y. How does that going for you? It's the little things that are also scalable that cause all of the difference in you getting more high paying clients. Right now, email marketing automations that distribute your most valuable sales assets on autopilot. All right. So we use code for that. So we use code for delivering our media, okay? Basically, evergreen assets distributed by code, but how do we actually get people to watch and consume those media assets? Now, we use for that people and code. That's what we leverage to get a volume, which is 500 to 1,000 DMs per day. That is how we actually start with and gain momentum. Now, while our content takes off because we are building sales assets, we're creating sales assets, we're recording long-form content that actually gives value to our prospects. While that takes off and builds traction, we make sure to gain momentum and book calls ASAP through people, software, and automations, right? People is permission leverage, which is basically you need to train them, you need to convince them to come work for you, you need to have incentives in place. But there's actually specific type of people that give you more leverage than you need to input, right? You're training them, but then they have so much value that it's just a no-brainer. So we're using $3 per hour setters that take care of prospecting, sending outreach messages, sending over sales assets and managing conversations, uploading content, social profiles. And you know what? It is actually not very hard to train them, but it is very hard to find quality setters that will actually do the work, which is something that we take care of and do all the hard work for you. So the second type of leverage we use is code, which is permissionless leverage, right? We just set it up once and then it runs forever. We use the best outreach and CRM automations for breaking the dependency on human input and get attention on our offers at scale. So we use leverage. Either of these works. It also depends on like what are your long-term visions for the company and what stage you're at. So we use people and code to basically distribute our sales assets and get as much attention on our offer as possible. Now, how do we actually combine all of that into an attention generating and converting system? And the objective is to educate and transform cold prospects at scale that, as we said, spend 3 times more, convert 3 times more, profitability goes through the roof, commitment to taking action in your program through the roof, client results, everything. It's just a positive feedback loop that never stops. So what is the 80-20 process? Instead of trying to book a call from the first encounter we have with a cold prospect, from cold DM, for example, to response to let's get on a call, we instead leverage the sales assets we created into the process. We integrate the sales assets that we created into the process. And those sales assets are responsible into transforming the cold prospect to actually believing in you, in the process, shifting his thinking around taking action, shifting his thinking around the how you can solve the issue for him. So for example, cold DM pitching a video asset we have, like this one, response, sending a 10 to 15 minute video asset that shifts the beliefs of the prospect. And then, depending on how short or long you want to have the sales cycle, you can just have a call to action to either book a quick walkthrough call with you or joining your Facebook group where you continue providing value, and we're not actually holding anything back from the prospect. We're just like, genuinely, I want to help you and I want you to experience my process before I actually sell you anything. So that is like the framework, and that is the vibe from which we're coming from. All right, so you can be creative with it. Be creative with it in the sense that I have taught you the fundamental process of conversion, which is the prospect goes through a certain transformation. He starts resonating with you and your company, and you actually get results through your process. And then he views you as the only solution to his problem, all right? So you look at that, and then you try to be creative, and you try to ask yourself, how can you actually have a lot of volume of both attention on your offer, but also educating that attention and converting that attention at scale. So I hope this video was valuable for you. I actually don't want anything from you, and if you like to, you can join my Facebook group where I have more trainings and I try to give as much value as I can to everyone, basically because of the process and the principles that I just described in this video. So I hope this video was valuable. If you have any questions about it, how you can implement it, specifically to your own industry, your niche, whatever you're offering, feel free to send me a DM and I'm gonna happily answer you and help you as much as I can. All right. Thank you for watching this video, and I'll see you later.